Right. I want to ask you guys a question. And this is some more information that came out about one of the officers. I'm sure we're probably going to get some more about Demetrius Haley. They've come to find out that there were some issues that they had with him prior to. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of that. But what it stated was back in 2016, there was a lawsuit that was alleged that ex-Memphis cop Demetrius Haley, who was 30, was working as a correctional officer back then and was allegedly beating up one of the inmates in the prison system. Apparently, the man had contraband. He was trying to hide a phone. When they went to his cell to try to find it, the guy tried to throw the cell phone away. Obviously, that didn't work. And what happened was one of those police officers, who was Demetrius Haley, and I believe it was one other or two other, started beating him senseless, where he had to go to the infirmary. And there was a lawsuit that was supposed to come out of this. Of course, it was dismissed. The guy Sledge stated that no one took him serious. No one really dived into the lawsuit or his allegations, but it ended up him getting beat and him having to go to the infirmary for his injuries. So that being said, do you guys think that the 5 that are now being charged with, I believe, second-degree murder, should we go back and look at their cases and see if was there anything that was done that might have had an inch of corruption or getting beat like Tyree did for no apparent reason? Should we take the time to go back to look at their history and allegations on them to see if it's just?
I don't know about allegations because, if argumentatively any one of us had to go back, I'm quite sure, point for point, somebody could find something about us and say, see, this is the probable up to here. Mm-hmm. So I think that would be too much of a slippery slope, because then that goes into that cancel culture, and then that goes into that almost goes into like a Me Too movement. Let's go back 20 years and find something, and then
But the thing is, if one of the police officers, and there was a lawsuit back in 2016 saying that he was getting beat like they did recently to Tyree Nichols, then it's okay. Maybe we need, because if this is a pattern that he's had, maybe we should go back to see the others that has said that some of these cops have done this to them to see if it's legit. So you're saying no, because that's a slippery slope.
I'm open to hearing the other argument.
Okay.
I'm asking it like this: do we expect grass to grow in the desert? No, we don't, right? So why do we expect these good cops to blossom out of these shithole places? I don't think we realize how hard that police job is.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. This is a constant grind. Constant. And like I said, it's constant. Oh man, the more this happens, and I look at these people, the way these cops approach things, and the common thing is that this happened in bad neighborhood, right? Mm-hmm. But we expect these cops to maintain their integrity in these hellholes. Look, we don't even go there. It's gonna make it harder and harder to find police officers. Now we get to a point in 2023 where them guys all out of shape because the quality of police officers down. Did you hear that guy breathing in that video?
Yeah, Nathan, you mentioned that in your show. Oh, that they were completely out of shape, couldn't outrun
do anything.
Yeah, but you got to realize they're out of shape now because nobody want to do this job.
Yep.
So now the quality, I guarantee you, in probably about another 5 years, you can have a felony and you can become a police officer because nobody wants to do this job. The pay is bad. The treatment is shitty.
Mm-hmm. You saw what they did to me.
especially in the black community.
They still do to you.
They still do to you.
You saw what they did to me. What they continue. They drive. I came back from the grave trying to save black folks. Where are they pulling these great candidates out of? You know, that want to be. And so we're surprised when these officers are actual criminals and gang members. Where they're pulling from the community, they're pulling from the same poisonous well and asked to actually do the job. So yeah, it's
good.
So the question is, there's no justification for that. But the question is, how do we then remedy that? The problem I have with our community is that we see what's going on and we try to act delusional. Like we don't know that these communities are a cesspool of crime and drugs and drama, and we want to blame it on whoever. Fine, cool, blame it on who you want to blame it on. It still doesn't change the fact that what are you going to do about it if the police don't show up? You don't like white police officers, that's fine. But then you don't like black police officers, that's fine too. Then who's going to do the job, right? Who's going to do it? You know, even when you get some of the most educated out of these bad neighborhoods, they don't want to come back and be cops. Why? Because they know the type of people who live in these neighborhoods and they don't want to deal with them. I know plenty of brothers who reached out to me online and said, hey, I wish I would love to be an officer, but the way our people treat other police officers, I refuse. They have too much to lose. You work hard, save your money up, you get a degree. What makes you want to listen? Everybody has an issue, right? When the well dries up, you don't respect the sanitation worker until somebody's not picking up your fucking trash. So this is the biggest problem with our community. Let the sanitation worker not show up for 2 weeks and your trash starts to build up in front of your house. See, you don't respect him when he comes and gets your trash. You don't respect him when all your trash has been picked up and there's no issue. You start having concerns when nobody shows up to do the job, but you don't respect him enough to say hi. You don't respect him enough to give him a raise. You don't appreciate the people who are doing the hard work, the dirty work. It's dirty work. God forbid if the police stop showing up in our neighborhoods, you're going to be begging for somebody with a gun to show up. That's the problem. So,
Nathan, I'm going to have all the chicks. I hope. Cancel the police. Good.
Cancel them.
Yeah. Have all the chicks.
Hey, Nathan, I'm going to have to get bunk beds in here.
Facts.
I want it.
They're going to be begging for it. Yeah.
Should we, with one of the police officers that we found out that back in 2016, was beating up on a guy in jail, there was a lawsuit, it was dropped. Do we now look at these police officers and go back in the history to verify that there was no infractions, no corruption, nothing that was going on back then, where we can look at those cases and re-examine? Should we do that to the police officers? Absolutely.
All 5 of them involved, the entire unit. Every interaction they've had from the moment of their conception has to be re-examined and pulled up. Every last one. Wow. Every complaint that was considered unfounded, or a complaint that was considered to be, we call it unfounded, meaning that we can't prove that the person's telling the truth. We can't prove if the officer's lying. It's basically there wasn't enough evidence to substantiate. And so, but there's truth. There has to be truth to it, and it's the same issue that we had in Louisiana with Breonna Taylor, that unit, that narcotics unit. They were complaining and reporting them about stealing money from them, drug dealers. And as drug dealers, you're like, well, I can't snitch on myself. But they're like, hey, I had 20 grand and the officer gave me 5 grand back, right? So this is a real thing. You have to actually really take these complaints seriously now, because one, you have someone who just recently described the same type of interaction that Tyree Nichols experienced, was snatched out of the cops. This right here is something totally different. This was barbaric, it was sinister, and it was unacceptable. And so you have to go back and review every single thing that these officers touched and look at it differently. And you have to put together a special prosecution team now to put them aside to investigate this unit, because there should be more charges forthcoming, to be completely honest. But these guys, they're going to be charged federally. And I believe that once the truth finally comes out, and you heard what I stated, that they should be presented with the death penalty. And so death penalty in life. I don't see anything less than that. And I targeted Tyree Nichols. And if he intentionally targeted him, then that is absolute conspiracy to commit murder. And so he's done.